Okay, cool. So did you get that stuff installed? If so, it's time to build some pages. And before we do, I want to show you something pretty awesome. So if you'll recall, Optimize Press sent you username and password to like the members site of Optimize Press, and this is where you can download it and get all of the really cool stuff that you might want to mess around with. Well, they've got this little area here called Marketplace for Optimize Press. So if you're in your members area and you go to Marketplace, I'm just showing you this because it's cool, you will see that you can buy and or get for free, depending, all manner of cool stuff. For example, if for some reason you find that like the 9 million templates and stuff that already come with it aren't enough, you can go into the marketplace, and as you can see, there's all kinds of free templates that you can download. And then there are vendors, people who actually build cool Optimize Press templates, and they sell them through here, which is awesome. And just to give you an idea of the caliber and quality of this stuff, our friends over at Digital Marketer in late 2015, they used this template and this template, which is free now from Optimize Press. They use both of these for their Black Friday and their 12 days of deal sales, and did something like $500,000 in sales as a result of just, finding a template and using it and putting an offer around it and getting jiggy with it. So I just wanted to show you this because it's cool. Now, let's build us some pages. So from over here, I'm now back into my WordPress menu here, and I go to Optimize Press. I'm in my Create New Page dashboard. So this is really right where we left off. And now we want to start building some opt-in pages. So I'm going to go first with lead magnet pages. All right. And this type of page, this particular layout and copy style has worked so well for me that I've built a template out of it to just sort of always use as my default thing to test first when it comes to generating opt-ins for free reports and things like that. And that is the secret sale style opt-in template. So here's how easy it is to build stuff within Optimize Press. So I've given you the template. So here's how we build a page. You click the Use This Template button, and I'm just going to name the page. So I'm just going to call this Secret Sale, whoops, come on, can't even type here, style template test. There we go. Yep, you obviously would name it something smarter. And I'll click on Create Page, and then in just a second, my internet's a little slow today, voila, here is the template I built you. Now, when I first started messing around with Optimize Press, I didn't like it because all of this stuff, like see these little things here, this threw me off. It wasn't as drag and drop as I would like it to be, and it took a little bit of getting used to. So I want to show you something. If you look over here on the left, you see where it says Show Hide Controls. If you click that, it takes that stuff away, and you can see what everything looks like without the controls and stuff. All right, so I'm going to turn, actually, I'll just leave that alone. So here's how to start building stuff. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put in a headline. So that's pretty simple. So you click the little pencil button there, and you see where mine says headline goes here. By default, on this thing, everything's in all caps. So let's build something about tomato gardening. All right, so how to grow huge tomatoes. Okay, tomates. That's how you spell that. Let's see, tomatoes. There we go. So I'll just click on Insert, and boom, now it's changed my headline. All right, so next thing we want to do is we want to change the subhead. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say something like ... even if you've killed every plant you've ever looked at. Okay, now one thing you want to notice, you see where it says in my little template, it says the image below is 340 pixels wide. The reason I've written that is you might want to use another image, and you might need to know how big the image is if you're having someone make it for you. Typically it's going to shrink it down for you anyway, so you might not have to worry about that, but that's why I've got it there. Anyway, once you've written your subhead, you just click on Insert, and voila. Okay, and so now, of course, we can't have an opt-in page without bullet points or something, So I'm going to put some bullet points here. So as you can see, I've already written them out for you. And the way to change it is you just click this little pencil here again. And this is our little bullet icon. We're not going to mess with any of this stuff. I'm just going to type in what I want it to be. So here, I'll pause it while I type all this stuff in so you don't have to watch me type. There we go. So once you've done that, you just click on insert and then watch. Ta-da! Now it looks cool. Now one thing you'll notice is you might say to yourself, you know what, man? I want this next step button to be a little bit lower. I think it'll look a little bit better if I make this a little bit lower. That used to drive me crazy. So I'll just fix that real quick. So we got two things we could do, actually. We could add more bullet points if we wanted to, or we could add something called a spacer. I'm going to click on Show Hide Controls over here on my left. You see when I do that, I've got all kinds of stuff that we don't really know what that is. I'm going to click on this Add Element button. And here's what's amazing about OptimizePress. You can just like put all kinds of cool stuff on the page really, really simply. In this case, I'm going to add a vertical spacer. And I'm going to make that thing about 10 pixels high. And I'm going to hit Insert. And now, you see where it says spacer right here? Now I'm just going to drag it using this little cross arrow thingy. I'm just going to put it right under my bullet points. And notice now, you know what, I think I'll even put another one. So instead of having to do that again, I can just click the copy button here, bing, and it's made another spacer. Now, watch what happens. This is basically like a little clear space that it's putting here under my bullet points. So I'm going to click Show Hide Comment or Controls again. And now, look, it's even with the bottom of the thing here. So that's kind of cool. I like that. So now it doesn't really make sense to have a big box with a question mark on it for your opt-in page, unless you're really doing a mystery type of opt-in. So let's talk about how you could go about sticking an image in there. Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to find the image, right? So I'm going to assume that you have an image that you want to, you know, like an ebook cover or a report cover or anything that you might want to use as an image to represent the thing that you're giving away. In this case, let's just go get one off the old Googles. Let's get something that's like tomato related so I can show you how to do all this stuff, all right? So hang on. Okay, so what I've done, and I don't recommend you do this, by the way, to get your graphics or anything. I'm just literally doing this so I can have something to use as an example. I went to google.com and I just Googled tomato book. And I think this one's good. I say tomato. You say tomato, I say shut up. Now, if you're wondering where to get covers made, there are two places you can go. Fiverr is one, and killercovers.com is another. Killer Covers is wonderful. I've dealt with them for years and years, probably 10 years. They do a great job, and they really don't cost very much money at all. But I really have no need to have a tomato cover design, so I'm just going to, for the purposes of illustration, use you say tomato, I say shut up. So what I'm going to do here is, let's see if it'll let me do this. I am going to save the image here, and I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Where are you, desktop? And I'm just going to say tomato book. And I'm just doing this so we'll have something to use, all right? So now that that is saved, now we can go back over here to OptimizePress. So we got to put something else in here. So I want to show you how to put the tomato book in here, all right? Because that thing is just lovely. So I'm going to click on my pencil button right here, and where it says image, I'm going to click remove image. And now I'm going to say image select file right here. And it's going to take a second. And I'm going to say add media files from your computer. So I'm just going to add that file that I just downloaded. All right, so I'm going to go to desktop over here, and I'm going to select Tomato Book, JPEG. This thing is huge. I'm going to say open, and that is a monster. All right, so good. So we're all set here, and it's crunching it down. And so now we know that it's here. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to put it in here as a medium size file. I'll click on insert into post, and let's see what it looks like here. And I know this isn't the prettiest thing. I'm going to get rid of this custom. Actually, I'll leave that there and we'll see what happens here. So I'll click on insert, and voila. Look, so now I've added the tomato cover. So as you can see, it looks pretty good there. I kept it at 340 pixels wide, and therefore it sort of resized it to look pretty good. Now you'll notice I've had a pretty tall cover here. This is bigger than the box. So from a layout perspective, we got a couple choices. Choice number one is we come here, we could add more bullet points if we wanted to, right? So I'll just click on add new, and the more I added, let's see here, I'll just copy this a few times. The more buttons, or the more bullets that I added here, the farther down it would be moving my next step thing. I could do that, or let me go back. I could also, I'll get rid of some of those bullets now. So if I got rid of these bullets here, and I just stuck with the original amount of bullets, so let me do that. I could also copy these spacers that I made. I'll copy a couple of them, and that moves it down a little bit. However, it does look a little bit strange here to have the bullets and then the spacer. So I could also just move one of those spacers up and then move another spacer up. And then I've got it kind of nicely organized here. So that's pretty cool. So either way you want to do is fine, right? So now we've got this all built. So here's how we now configure your opt-in box, all right? And we're not going to deal with the techie stuff on this. We're just going to deal with like the layout stuff of it. So when your user clicks on this next step button, they are going to be taken to an opt-in form. A little light box window is going to pop up here. So I've already configured it for you from a layout perspective. All you got to do is click on this pencil button here, and you'll see where we can now just edit what your opt-in form looks like. So the way we do that is we click on this pencil thing. And so when you do that, we're going to have to remember to come back and change this when we do the techie stuff. This is super easy, but right now I've got it set to form HTML. So if they fill this in, it's going to email you at test.com. We're going to end up integrating it with your autoresponder system. I use Infusionsoft, so I have Infusionsoft that I can select from. But we're not going to do that right now. Okay, I'll walk you through how to do it once we build the pages. We're just focusing on like getting your copy and stuff done now. So the way we do that is you just come over here to your Content tab, and notice where it says headline here, between these two strong tags, you just type in, hey, look, I typed something. Probably spell it right. There we go. Okay, and then let me just hit insert here, and you can just see how it just changed all of that. Now you're probably noticing, incidentally, that when I come over here to content, I have these two weird tags. This is making that headline big and bold. All right, so that's why I've got those there, and I've left them here for you in your template, so you don't have to remember it. You just type stuff between these tags, and it'll be bold. If you don't want it bold, take the tags away. Okay, so I think this is all well and good for now. This is how we do this. Now we'll integrate this with Infusionsoft or whoever you want to here in a minute, later on in the class. Right now we just want to get this stuff done. So I'll click on update, and now we are gold. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is we'll just edit this copy and make sure this opt-in button works as well. So I'm going to now do another headline. So this is just a space for another headline, and I'll just write it here. Yes, you. And I'm going to emphasize the word can because that looks cool. Okay, so this is all you're going to have to do to mess with this thing. And then boom, now you have a headline. And you see, you never want to leave the cool thing in here, right? So I'm just going to even model. I'm going to change this copy a little bit here. I'm going to say this free report shows you exactly how. Ta-da! All right, so just click on insert after that, and as you can see, it changed it. So now what we have here, this little block, is we've got some copy that sells the opt-in, meaning that you got to tell them how good the free report is, right? So I'll just type it. You open the, you just always, everything we do, we always click the little pencil. So I'm just going to type some stuff in here, but I won't make you watch me. Okay, there we go. So I'll just hit insert here, and I want to show you sort of the logic behind this copy. So when you're writing opt-in page copy, it doesn't have to be like, you know, a super long sales letter or anything. One thing I want you to always be aware of is that when you have bullet points, you always want to set up the bullet points in body copy like this. So I make a statement. I mean, this is okay copy. You know, growing huge tomatoes doesn't have to be hard. In fact, it can be easy if you know how to do it. In this free report, you'll discover breakthrough gardening secrets like this sentence right here is the setup for these bullet points. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to edit these bullet points. I've created 3 of them here for you. So I will just click on the blue pencil. And the real thing I want to show you, because I don't want to drive you crazy with you having to watch me type, is if you ever want something bold in a bullet point in Optimize Press, you need to have strong in these little greater than, less than signs in front of it, and then / strong in greater than, less than signs at the end of it, and that will make it bold. That's kind of like the only gotcha to Optimize Press, is you have to do that to bold just bullet points. Regular copy, no problem, right? So I'll just sort of do it. I've done it for you in your template, just in that one. So, you know, look how it's here now. All right. Boom. Bing. So I'll click on insert and you'll see I changed it. And now this is bold here. And you'll notice that the exclamation point is not. So if I wanted the exclamation point to be bold, I would simply put it here in between these 2 little tags. All right. And then this bullet isn't bold. Okay. And then I could say, but this part is. Now notice this word part now is going to be bold because I put those 2 tags there. So that's all I'm trying to show you with this. So you click on insert when you're done. And now here's your bullets. And then I'm just going to edit this thing here. And obviously you don't use the words the cool thing. So I'll say huge tomatoes now. All right. And we can mess around with the bolding here just by regular clicking B or not B. I like having that bold there. So I'll click on insert and now we're good, except we can also have it where if they click on this, it'll open up an opt-in box. So there's something that's kind of cool here. We can do a couple things. Thing number 1 is we can, at any time, if we have an opt-in button, we can just duplicate it by clicking on this little copy icon here. And if I want to, I can just drag this sucker right down here, and I don't have to mess with this at all. However, I've got the blue, not the red. Now I'm thinking about it, I kind of like the red better. So I think you should keep the red. I think it actually just matches everything and looks pretty good. But if you didn't want to, all we do is we just click on the pencil icon, and you change your headline and all of that kind of stuff. All right, so I'll just get out of here now. I'm going to remove this element by clicking on the X button here. And our final thing we want to do is if you have a privacy policy and terms and conditions, I put a link for you to link to it here. You just click on your pencil and you highlight this, and this is just like an email or something. You know, you just click on the thing there, and then it would be yoursite.com terms or whatever the page is that has your terms and conditions on there. Okay, so I'll just get out of there, and I'll get out of there, and we're all good. So we're almost finished. Now you'll notice this down at the bottom. This is exclusive to my website. I've set it up to where it says that on mine. Your template won't say copyright 2015 Frank Kern, I don't think, so you should be okay. Now all we got to do now is we want to save this page. So at any time during your working, you can always click Save and Continue. You'll notice this dialog box comes up. What we want to do now is we want to actually publish this and make it live. So this is important. You see where it says Draft here? We just drop down to Publish. We click on Save and Continue. And we click on OK. Then watch this. I'm going to click View Public Link. And this is the actual page right here. So this is relatively functional. Our only thing that we have to do now is later when it's time. I want to build all your pages first, but when it's time, we have to integrate this with Infusionsoft or whoever you're using. And I'll show you how to do that later. I just want to get the pages built first to make it easy for you. Okay, so that's how you build this particular opt-in page. In the next video, I'll show you how to build another one. I'll see you then.